to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Shout out to Nancy Lieberman. We need more people like Nancy Lieberman, people with a platform, people with history, people who are respectable and who are respected, and people who are not afraid to call it like it is. So many people today who have a voice out there go along with narratives because they're afraid to just stand on what they believe is true and call it as they see it. When Nancy Lieberman, WNBA legend, commentator, broadcaster, author, Hall of Famer, the list goes on. When Nancy Lieberman became aware that former NBA player Jeff Teague categorized Caitlin Clark as being good, not great, she had something to say about it. I'm telling you, when I say we need more people like her, I mean it, because there are some people who are more interested in going along to get along than to say, okay, hold up. Let's take a look at this and let's call some things out. So we're going to go over to X, to Ball is Life, and hear what Nancy Lieberman had to say about what Jeff Teague had to say about Caitlin Clark.
I don't agree with Jeff Teague, who I read something today said that, Caitlin Clark, or she's just a good player. She's not a great player. Jeff.
He said that? She good, but she not that good.
I love you. You weren't a great player.
Wait.
Okay? You were serviceable. I know you made the All-Star team one time.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. If we're going to if we're going to be honest, I'm happy for your career.
We won't out, Jeff, my guy. But you tripping. Caitlin's great. She is great.
Whoa, she just absolutely annihilated him. Oh my goodness. But what's interesting, when I listened to it this time, at least in this clip, he didn't say that she's good, she's just not great. He said she's good, she's not that good. He might have gone on to say some more, but he said right there, I haven't heard the whole thing, but he said she's good, but she's not that good. And Nancy Lieberman said, you know what? I got something for you. You weren't great. Then she threw in the shade about the All-Star game. Now, it might sound like a compliment. You made it to the All-Star game. No, she was saying, I know you managed to get there one time, but you were, and here's the kicker, you were serviceable. And that's why they're like, whoa, and they're laughing, because that was low, Nancy. Nancy was like, you weren't even all that, but you were, serviceable. And serviceable, one of the definitions of serviceable is functional and durable rather than attractive. In other words, as they say on the street, yeah, but you're not all that. Caitlin, however, is great, is what she's saying. And of course, you got to say, they're not, she's sitting there with men who are like, she's great. What is he even talking about? But Jeff Teague has responded to what Nancy Lieberman said to him. If you want to call it a clapback, we're going to look at that in a moment. But I first want to park here because I said that we need more people like Nancy. And I say that because we have so many yes people. We've got so many people a part of an establishment, so many people a part of a narrative and an agenda. We see it on ESPN. We hear it from people. And a lot of people right now in particular are on that bandwagon of trying to diminish Caitlin Clark. It's really ironic to me what I observe, what I notice. And I know some people say, I haven't seen that. Well, I have. That's why I'm talking about it. So it's kind of ironic because you have people who couldn't stand the Indiana Fever because they can't stand Caitlin Clark. And so they are excited to see the Indiana Fever doing well. Indiana Fever lost to the Sparks, but we got to be honest. I mean, people win, people lose, but this team has been on an absolute tear, had 5 wins in a row, doing well, getting better. So you got the people who supposedly can't stand the Fever because they can't stand Caitlin Clark. And they're excited about this because they get to push the narrative that the team is better without Caitlin Clark. And of course, that helps them sleep at night, believing that lie. And then you've got the people who are supposedly fans of Caitlin Clark, but they can't stand the Fever right now because the Fever is winning. And that hurts their narrative because somehow they think that by the team winning, that Caitlin Clark is being diminished, and they're more concerned about what other people think rather than what they already know to be true. And that is that, no, the team is not better without Caitlin Clark. So it's kind of interesting, that whole dichotomy, if you will. It's so ironic to me. But we need more people like Nancy because they're not worried about whether I'm going to be in the cool kids club or not. They're just going to stand for what they believe is true. Now, Jeff Teague is obviously entitled to his opinion, for real. But Nancy Lieberman is also entitled to remind him of what the deal is. And let's look at your career. Now, if Jeff Teague is correct and Caitlin isn't that good or isn't great, then that means that this entire league isn't great, isn't good, because the not that good, not great person came in and broke like 63 records in her rookie season and hit milestones in a few games that it took other people a plethora of games. So if she's not that good, then you must concede that the whole thing is just trash. Now, the truth of the matter is that there are a lot of players who obviously are not trash in this league. Caitlin just really is that good. But the way Nancy took it, she kind of checked him. And it's not the first time she did it. Before we get done with this video, I'm going to remind you of how she took on Sheryl Swoopes as well. So I really appreciate people like Nancy Lieberman. I appreciate people like Candace Parker. I appreciate people like Sophie Cunningham. Candace Parker took some beef because she said, that Angel Reese wasn't like top tier. People didn't like that because people want to be stroked. They don't necessarily want to hear the truth. They want you to say what they want to hear. You got Sophie Cunningham, who's, telling tales out of school, as they say, and calling some things as they are. And some people don't like that either. Too many people are just, like I said, they just want to go along to get along and fit in and go with all that. And then you've got a few people, they've already made their mark. They already know who they are. They know where they stand, and they're willing to take that stand. But Jeff Teague, he responded to Nancy Lieberman. So we're going to go back to Ball is Life, and we're going to take a look at what he said to Nancy Lieberman after what she said about his serviceable self. He wrote, LOL, you got it, OG. I ain't gonna fry you. Just said I think she's good, not great. I think Kelsey is better, that's all. But I'm serviceable. That's kind of true. My career was kind of like your son's in the big three. Only thing was, my mom didn't draft me. Nah, I'm joking. Shout out to y'all. So he threw some shade there. He handled it with class. He said what he had to say. Oh, well, and I must be like your son. Said my mama ain't the one that got me where I am. So he was definitely throwing some shade. But then he just like, hey, I'm not gonna fry you, OG. Hey, respect to y'all. I'm just kidding. So he got his little shot in, but he didn't do it in a disrespectful way. He just did it in a throw a little shade kind of way. But again, Nancy Lieberman is a Hall of Famer. She knows who she is. She knows what she's done. She knows what she's meant to this game. And she has been one who has been willing to stand up for Caitlin Clark at a time where it seems like open season on Caitlin Clark, which has seemed to be the way it is since she's coming to the league. Again, Jeff Teague is entitled to his opinion, but Nancy is entitled to tell you what she think of your opinion. And I like it. So let's remind ourselves of how Nancy stood up for Caitlin against someone considered a legend in the league, but she didn't let that stop her from checking her. And that is Sheryl Swoopes. So we'll flash back to that by going to correlation on X.
That said, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate. And I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend. And I said, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. And, you might like Boston. I might like the Yankees. It's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone. And I was like, Cheryl, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship, it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me. My life's going to be good or great with or without Cheryl Swoops in my life. I'd rather have her in it. But let me tell you the difference.
Right. And that was almost a year ago that she was there on Stephen A. Smith and that whole thing with Cheryl Swoops. But once again, I like people like Nancy who are willing to stand up, speak out, and got a little spice to her as well in a respectable way. And again, Jeff Teague, he handled it good-naturedly as well. He got his shot back in. But there you have it. I will catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.